All right. Hello, everybody. Let's get this party started. Tonight, we are talking about the very uncomfortable heartburn at night. So, hope everybody is doing very well. Good to see everybody here tonight. I would like to know in the comments who is suffering with heartburn, maybe at night or maybe in general, right? There is a really strong reason why you are suffering. And I'm going to tell you what that is. So many people think that, the only way to resolve or get rid of heartburn is to go on antacids. And I'm going to show you tonight why that is not a good idea. In fact, when you go on antacids, it just makes your situation worse. It might be solving the heartburn short term, but it never cures it, never reverses it, it never gets to the underlying root problem. So we're going to talk all about that too. So why don't you go ahead and make a comment? Anybody, if you're struggling with heartburn, I would love to make sure that I am addressing any questions that you may have, and I'll kind of keep checking down at my comments here, and if there's any questions that come up, I'll try to answer them at the end. Okay, so let's just get going. Let's just dig right in. My name is Terry Dale, and I am a health practitioner, functional diagnostic nutritionist, and the author of two best-selling Amazon books. And you can find these in bookstores and also on Amazon. And basically, it's just I've been doing this for a long time. I've been helping women lose weight permanently, reverse their diabetes, and lower their blood sugars, and just give them education on overall health. And I always tell people it's like, even though I market myself and as a women's diabetes and weight loss coach, I just think everybody in the world should be in this group. Every woman in the world should be in this group because we cover so much more than just, diabetes and weight loss. We cover, like heartburn tonight. Like, and we cover, liver and detox strategies and nutrition strategies and protocols. We cover so much. And the whole reason why I started this group was so that I could really teach, everybody that's here the holistic side of health, because most people are not getting that information. When you Google or when you go to your doctor, you're getting an allopathic viewpoint. And an allopathic viewpoint is just the medical side. It's the medicine side. And even though medicine has its place, I don't believe it's a solution long term for many of the symptoms and diseases that doctors are giving you medications for. I think that medications mask the true issue, and they just end up never getting your issue, and your disease and your symptoms never get better when you put a bunch of medication at it, because medication is like a band-aid, putting a band-aid on a cut, right? The cut takes time to heal. Your body's own natural innate intelligence knows how to heal a cut. So when you go and put a bunch of medication on a symptom, the medication is just covering it. Your body's own innate intelligence knows how to do that. And if you give it the right ingredients, the right nutrition, the right supplements, the right lifestyle, all of that, your body will know how to heal itself. So that is what this group is about, and that is what I teach. Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about heartburn. And there's never just one thing that causes any sort of symptom or disease. But I will tell you this, that with heartburn, it's even though there's a few things that can cause heartburn, there's really one main reason why you may have it. And the other thing I want to talk about tonight is whether or not you have it at night or not, the same mechanics of why you have it is the same. So a lot of people think, well, if I have it at night, it must just be that my body's, producing a lot of acid at night for some reason. Or they think that if I have having it at night, it might be because when I'm laying down, the acid is just somehow, increasing. There's a myth to that. That's a misconception. And so I want to kind of explain to you why it's like, why, and if you only have it at night, why is it that you have it at night, not during the day? And some people, usually if you have it at night, you have it during the day too. And also if you have it at night but not during the day, maybe it's because you're on an acid, so you don't feel it during the day, but then at night it rears its ugly head because the medication, is wearing off. So we're going to talk about that also. Okay, so we got a lot to kind of uncover tonight. So here's what I want to first show you. We're just going to kick it off. Okay, this is a picture of your stomach and your esophagus. So when you eat food, the food goes down in here and you chew it and it goes down your esophagus. There is a valve called the LES valve. This is what keeps your stomach acid in your stomach. So anytime you have heartburn, it's because this LES valve opens up. And then what happens is that valve opens up. And that's what's causing the heartburn. So our stomachs are designed to have a lot of stomach acid. And what happens is when we don't have enough stomach acid, the LES valve is triggered by stomach acid. So if you don't have a lot of stomach acid, that valve will stay open. Let me say that again. When you have low stomach acid, that valve will stay open. When you have a lot of stomach acid, the valve is closed. So what we have to figure out is why this is not staying closed. And if it's not staying closed, it's because your stomach acid is low. And most people don't know that. Most people are thinking, well, if I have heartburn, I must have too much stomach acid. But we need to have a lot of stomach acid. And here's why. Because when you have a lot of stomach acid, right, it's like your front line defense. If your stomach is so acidic, it's going to be your front line for bacteria and pathogens, and there's no critter that's going to be able to live through that acid bath. This is why we need our stomach so acidic. So if you don't have a lot of stomach acid, you also aren't going to be able to digest your food very well, which is why sometimes when you feel like bloated after you eat, chances are you probably don't have enough stomach acid. You need to have a lot of stomach acid. And thing is as we age or certain diseases or medication will cause that stomach acid to stay low, and your body is supposed to be able to be generating its own stomach acid. But as we age and certain medications and things like that will prevent your body from making your own stomach acid, which then keeps that valve open. And when that LES valve is open, that is when the acid comes back up, and that's when you feel the burn. So we have to understand, and this is this is the most amazing thing to me. Doctors don't even know how to help you with heartburn. They give you antacids. That's not the right solution, because what antacid does, you guys, is an antacid puts a coating on top of the already low stomach acid. So then when you regurgitate it up, it neutralizes the stomach acid, which you don't want it to neutralize it because you need that stomach acid to be strong. But all that it's preventing is that when it comes back up, it doesn't hurt because it neutralizes that stomach acid. It doesn't keep the valve closed, right? You need to keep that valve closed. And the only way to keep that LES valve closed is to have high stomach acid. So these antacids aren't bringing the stomach acid up. The antacids are just covering, basically putting like a layer and neutralizing that stomach acid. So when it comes up, it doesn't burn. And doctors don't know this. It's like, it's for them, it's like, well, we can't give you more acid if you're having acid reflux. Yeah, you need more acid. You need to build your stomach acid up. It's the opposite of what they're doing. This is why when you go on antacids, it might work short term, but you're not fixing the underlying problem. So you keep continuing to have problems with heartburn. We need it once again to have that strong acid in our stomach so that when we're eating and we happen to come across a bug or a virus or a pathogen, that acid will just kill it. Also, we need it to help digest our foods. We need that stomach acid so strong that it breaks up proteins and carbs and helps digest it. If you have undigested food that goes into your colon, that's a lot of times what can cause pain and bloating and constipation. So the medications that doctors will prescribe for heartburn are all of these. You've heard of Prevacid. I have so many clients that come to me and they're on Prevacid and they've been on it for years. And the thing is it's just covering it up. It's not fixing the underlying problem. The minute you go off of Prevacid or any of these, the heartburn comes back. But the problem here, you guys, and this is one thing I really want you guys to understand is even on, even on the antacids, you're not fixing the valve. So the valve stays open and you're still regurgitating that up. It's just not as acidic because the antacid, one, it puts a little like a neutralizes that acid, and it also it decreases your stomach acid, which is what you don't want. Okay, so these medications are just not the right solution. And these are some of the very common ones. So if you're on any of these, I would encourage you to keep watching because we want to try to fix this problem. Okay. The PPIs they're called proton pump inhibitors. That's what they do is they actually just put a coating on the acid so that when it comes up, it doesn't burn. And then also it also helps decrease the stomach acid. So just I want you to kind of get a visual of what happens when you eat. This is how digestion works. When you eat, you chew the food, it goes down the esophagus, enters into the stomach, which is where you need that strong stomach acid. HCl is called hydrochloric acid. And so your body needs to have a lot of strong, stomach acid so that it can digest the food, right? As soon as your stomach senses food going down, not only will the stomach acid start to work, but also the liver and the pancreas release certain enzymes to aid in digestion. Then once that happens, then your gallbladder releases bile because the bile then neutralizes that strong acidic product because we don't want that strong acidic product going into the small intestine acidic. We want the bile neutralize it. So the stomach acid now is neutralized by the bile. And so when it gets into the small intestine, now it's neutral because I'm going to kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent here, but the innate intelligence of the body is amazing. And there's certain parts of our body where we need to have it acidic, and there's other parts of the body where we need it alkaline. And so the stomach needs to be very acidic. But then when the chyme, which is the digested food, enters into the duodenum, it needs to be alkaline to go through the small intestine because the small intestine, we don't want the strong acid to be eating up the lining of the intestine. The stomach is made by a thick coating that's designed to be able to contain strong stomach acid. The small intestine isn't. So what happens is when you are eating that food and it's mixing with the strong stomach acid, the bile now that's released from the gallbladder, bile is very alkaline. It's a high pH, right? So what that does is it neutralizes that stomach acid, and they come together and it forms a fizz, and that's when you actually absorb nutrition. And then that very alkaline product goes through the small intestine. And then when it gets into the large intestine, it's acidic again, because again, when it comes out, it's supposed to be more acidic. So the body is just so made so wonderfully. And if we understand that, then we can, as humans, we can know what the body needs to be able to perform like it's designed to be performed. When we go and put a bunch of antacids or a bunch of medications and mess up how the body's supposed to work, that's when things get messed up. This is why I'm not a fan of medications long term at all, ever, because the medications just mess up with the body's organic way of functioning. And it's especially true with antacids because it just messes up the entire way that it's supposed to work, right? So then that product, once it's alkaline, it goes into the small intestine and then goes into the large intestine, and then you eliminate it. So why then would some of the heartburn happen at night? Well, you can see from the visual, if you already have low stomach acid, right, that valve, remember the valve stays open. So depending on how you're laying, if you're laying on your left side, because you're keeping that underneath where the valve is, right, it's going to stay there. That's why maybe you won't have it as much. But if you're laying on your right side, you might have it a little bit more because, again, that valve is open. Now, if you had enough stomach acid and it triggers that valve to be closed, you're not going to have to worry about any acid reflux at night. So again, the misconception that you have low stomach acid, and that's why your having acid reflux at night is not true. It's because that valve is staying open. And then when you're sleeping, it comes up and it burns. We have to fix the valve, the LES valve problem. That's what we have to fix. And the only way to fix that is to increase your stomach acid, okay? So lack of stomach acid is also called hypochlorhydria. And there's a lot of people who have this condition. And again, we need to have our stomach so acidic. Do you guys know that battery acid has a pH of 0.8? And in your stomach, we want a pH of 2 to 3, right? Now, bile is really alkaline. I think it's like a 10, like between a 7 and a 10. And so that's what really alkalizes the mixture when it goes into the duodenum and enters the small intestine. But our stomach acid needs to be between 2 and 3. And if you don't have hardly any stomach acid in there, it's going to cause you a lot of problems with digestion and how your body functions and breaks down foods and how you absorb it. Some causes of the low stomach acid would be your stomach's not making enough on its own, and that could be because you have a bacteria overgrowth like H. pylori or a strong candida. Stress can cause you to not make a lot of stomach acid. Age, smoking and drinking, nutrient deficiency, especially if you don't have enough magnesium, salt. You know, doctors are telling you, don't have salt in your diet, don't have salt in your diet. No, you need salt. In fact, you need salt in order to make hydrochloric acid. So if you're not getting enough salt in your diet, you for sure are not going to be able to make hydrochloric acid. Also, B vitamins are a part of also making that hydrochloric acid. So these are some of the causes of low stomach acid. And I'm going to tell you something. If you have a bacteria overgrowth, and like H. pylori, you are for sure going to have problems with digesting food because those bacteria, what they do is the bacteria or the infections, the bacteria, they produce an alkaline waste. So you have that bacteria in your gut, and it gives off alkaline waste, which then again it causes you to have low stomach acid, which is going to cause a lot of problems in the digestion part of breaking down of your nutrition. And that's the other thing too, is like when you have low stomach acid, you're not able to absorb nutrition. So there's so many people that have malabsorption because they have low stomach acid. And so if you don't have enough of that, you're not able to absorb all the wonderful foods that you're eating. If you are eating amazing foods, you're not able to absorb it because you don't have enough stomach acid. Also, if you're taking vitamins and minerals, if you don't have enough stomach acid, you're not able to absorb them efficiently either because, again, the acid is all part of that absorption. So symptoms of low stomach acid would be, of course, heartburn. That's what we're talking about tonight, acid reflux, cravings, hungry all the time, bad breath. Why? Because, again, if you're not digesting food and all of that undigested food is sitting there and it's rotting, it's going to come back up. And you could have body odor, you could have bad breath. That's truly a sign of incomplete digestion. You're feeling full or bloated after meals. If you eat and you're feeling super bloated and full, that is definitely a sign that you don't have enough stomach acid. So gas and flatulence, constipation, that's a huge one, or diarrhea. You know, again, constipation and diarrhea, based on what's happening with the part of the digestion, you could have symptoms of constipation or diarrhea if you have low stomach acid. And I have videos in this group that talk a little bit about the concepts of each of these and why, some potential reasons why you would have those. So I would just do a search in the group and you can find that. Soreness or burning in the mouth, stomach upset or nausea, body odor, and undigested food in the stool. I would really encourage you guys to be stool gazers. Do you know what I mean by that? So when you're a stool gazer, you want to look at your stool. Your stool will tell you a lot. Your stool, the color, what's in it, I mean, it will tell you a lot. So I have a graphic here coming up that kind of shows you what to look for. Oh, also over time, low stomach acid can cause autoimmune issues, gastritis, skin problems, and anemia. I wanted to throw that in there too. So undigested stools, if you're constipated, it is definitely probably one of the reasons is because you don't have enough stomach acid. Here's this graphic for you guys to kind of see like what your stool should look like. The speed of the stool is based on the acidity of digestion. So the stool moves at the speed of its acidity level. So if you are like constipated or you have these separate hard lumps or lumpy sausages like mild constipation, it's low stomach acid. Now, when you start getting into like softer edges or diarrhea, it can be a combination of low stomach acid and bile flow. Because remember, the bile, right, from the gallbladder, the bile comes and neutralizes those acids. So if you don't have enough bile coming in to neutralize the stomach acid, the body's so smart. The body's like, we can't have this acidic product go through the small intestine. We want to get it out of here. So rushes water and tries to get the acidic product out of there because you're not producing enough bile, or your bile is thick and sticky, and from medications or all of that. And so the body's saying, oh, we got to hurry up and get this acidic product out of there. So again, this is why sometimes low stomach acid can be you can be constipated and or have diarrhea. So you got to know, everybody's so unique in their situation. This is why when you go to a doctor and present to them, that you have heartburn or you have constipation or diarrhea, the only thing they want to do is they want to give you medication. They're not assessing the part of the digestion that's incomplete. And that's what you have to do. You have to find somebody that can help you discern that. Otherwise, you're never going to be doing the right thing to fix it. In this group, if you do a search up here in the group under, there's a little search bar and you type in whatever the topic, all the videos are there. I have done hundreds of videos, and there's one I did a few weeks ago called Why Am I Constipated? And that is really a good class to listen to because I go into more detail on the reasons why you might be constipated. When you go to a doctor, this is what the doctors do. They give you blood tests. They ask you if you have any family history. They think that heartburn is because of family history. Oh, you have a family history of heartburn? It's like, no, it's not genetic. Heartburn is not genetic. It's a problem with part of there's incomplete digestion. So that picture I showed you where your digestion starts here and it ends when it goes out the back door. So your whole digestion process is very complicated, right? It's not just your gut. Your digestion starts in the mouth where you chew food and it creates the saliva, and then it goes to the esophagus and goes, and then the last part of digestion is basically coming out the back end. So you have like a lot of steps in between there, and there's a lot of stuff that can be messed up in there, and especially if you have a history of having infections or autoimmune or candida, or side effects of medication can also slow the bowel down and also cause heartburn because it decreases the stomach acid. So you just have to understand like what to do. And your doctors, unfortunately, they want to give you a medication to cover it up and to treat. So what I always say is what I like to do is I like to customize your protocol, help you with your nutrition, reduce inflammation, detox supplement, and help you understand your situation so that you can learn how to do things the right way and not just be always going to your doctor and getting more and more and more and more and more medications. When you're looking at heartburn, you have to ask yourself, okay, am I on heartburn medications, first of all? So if you are, you might want to consider cutting back on them and working on increasing your stomach acid. And somebody's going to ask me, well, how do you do that? Well, there's many different ways. You can start by taking apple cider vinegar. You can start by purchasing hydrochloric acid tablets. But again, based on you and based on your situation and based on what your protocol is, if you can eat and do all the right things, if you're not changing the foods that you're eating and you're not absorbing nutrition, you're going to have a harder time raising that stomach acid. So it's really important that you work with somebody that could help you with this, right? But I would say the first thing I would do, instead of like going cold turkey off your antacids, I would actually go cold turkey off, and I would try just right away just building up my stomach acid and making sure I'm eating foods that are easily digestible as I'm at the same time trying to build my stomach acid and make sure that I'm getting the right nutrients in to help aid in increasing my stomach acid. So if any of you want like a consultation, I'm going to share my screen here. I want you guys feel free to go to reducebloodsugarsnaturally.com and watch that short video. and get in my schedule, and you can sign up for a consultation with me if you need my help with anything relating to diabetes, prediabetes, weight loss, any medical condition that you need help with working with your medical doctor about. I'm really good at helping you navigate conversation with your medical doctor. I think that's kind of where a lot of women really need my help, is because they're sick and tired of going to their doctor, and their doctor, all that they do in the 10 minutes that they visit with them is they say, here's a medication for that, here's a medication for that. And then you go on the medication, and then you have a side effect of the medication. The medication might temporarily fix the symptom that you went in there for, but then that medication is going to cause other symptoms. And then eventually the medication will stop working for the symptom that you went into the doctor to get relief from. And then he'll have to either increase the medication or switch to a different one. And so then eventually you end up piling up these medication after medication after medication. And so what I'm really good at doing is helping my clients to work with their medical doctor to get you off these medications to fix your imbalance. All heartburn is an imbalance. All the inability to lose weight, all that is an imbalance. All that high blood sugars and not able to get your blood sugars, all that is an imbalance. It's your body's not working how it's designed to work. So you gotta understand the physiology, and you have to start doing things in the right order, in the right way. And unfortunately, your MD can't do that for you, because in 8 years of med school, they get 1/2 day, if even that, of nutrition. And diabetes and weight loss and hormone imbalance, all of that's a lifestyle nutritional disease. And then once you get diagnosed with obesity or a hormone imbalance, then the next step is insulin resistance. And then after insulin resistance comes prediabetes. After prediabetes comes diabetes. And then after that, then you got heartburn. And then you got high blood pressure. And then they're going to put you on a cholesterol medication. And then they're going to put you on depression medication. And then they're going to try to talk you into going on Ozempic because you're gaining weight because of the diabetes. I mean, it's just like you're never going to get better unless you step up and take your health into your own hands and be willing to work with somebody like me who can guide you with the right steps. And you have to take ownership of your own health. You have to learn it, and you have to understand it and learn it, and come work with somebody like me so I can help teach you, because nobody's going to do it for you. This is the one thing I'm so, like, I have such a hard time understanding some. I just have a hard, I've been interviewing a lot of women for my program in the past 4 or 5 months, and I'm just shocked by how so many women are just so, like, they worship their medical doctor. And listen, I'm not saying all medical doctors are bad, because I think there's some amazing MDs. But if you go to an MD, your MD, and you get to spend 10 minutes with them, and that's all they want to do is put, jam medications on your throat, that's not a good MD, in my opinion. Okay? It's just not, because they're not helping you to fix anything. And heartburn is what easiest thing in the world to fix if you know what's causing it, if you understand your situation. And that's what I'm really good at doing, helping you kind of peel back the layers and figure that out. So I want to offer you guys an opportunity to, work with me, and an opportunity to be able to set up a strategy session. So if you go to reducebloodsugarnaturally.com, there's a short training in there, and you can watch that video. And then after that video, you can get in my schedule and book a time to meet with me. And I would be more than happy to do a consultation with you, because again, now is the time, in my opinion, and now is the time to take control of your health. And because nobody else is going to do it for you. Your doctor's not going to do it for you. Your girlfriend's not going to do it for you. Your mom isn't going to do it for you. Your grandma isn't going to do it for you. Your husband isn't going to do it for you. You have to decide to do it. And you need somebody to help you. You need somebody like me to help you to take away the confusion. Like, okay, how much apple cider vinegar should you have? Should you do apple cider vinegar, or should you do hydrochloric acid? Should you include salt? Can we titrate off medications? Can we, what foods would be best for you so that you won't have diarrhea? What foods would be best for you so that you can fix your constipation? I mean, all of that is something I can't answer in a 30-minute class. That requires conversation, and it requires me getting in there and being like a little detective and helping you. And so if you're wired to be a quick fix like mentality of your health, be honest, you're just never going to be able to understand it. And when you understand When you actually understand and you take the time to learn it, that's how you become empowered. If you have a quick fix mentality, you're never going to learn it. And then you just stay stuck and you stay getting worse. I mean, I hope this is helpful, right? I mean, so many people don't realize that it's the valve. Let me show the valve again. So many people don't realize that it's the valve that's causing the acid to come back up. The misperception is they think most people think that, oh, if you have heartburn, you have too much acid. It's the opposite. It is 100% the opposite. We want to keep that LES, it's called the lower esophageal sphincter, LES valve. We want to keep that closed. And how that stays closed is triggered by high stomach acid. Low stomach acid keeps it open. So this is why we want to make sure our stomach acid is full, because when that is open, that's when, there you go, the heartburn and the acid comes back up and it burns and it's very uncomfortable. And then at night, the only reason why you're having it at night, which is the topic of this entire class tonight, the only reason you have it at night is because, again, that valve is open. And depending on what side you're laying on, it'll come up, right? And it's not because you have too much acid. It's because your stomach acid is low, keeping the valve open. So I hope this was helpful. Remember, any of you who want help, get on my schedule, and I can't wait to see you very soon. Bye for now.